Hi everyone! I hope you're doing well today. If you're new here, my name is Erin. This is my digital diary for documenting all the things I'm grateful for. And today I thought it would be fun to do another current favorites video. The last time I did one of these was back in November, so we have a lot to catch up on. We're going to talk about my favorite movies, music, books, fashion inspiration, and just miscellaneous things I've been liking lately. So let's just get right into it. I watched quite a few movies since the last time we talked, so we're gonna do this sort of rapid fire. The first movie I watched, kind of end of winter, beginning of spring, was In the Mood for Love. This movie was put out in the year 2000. It's based in Hong Kong. This movie is so beautiful. The soundtrack is amazing. The color grading is amazing. It has a lot to do with yearning and sort of the anticipation for connection. And it was a perfect movie for me going from winter to spring. Here in New York, it was a crazy, freezing winter. I got such bad cabin fever. So this movie really brought out some feelings in me that I didn't know were there, but I loved it. Next up is another movie that's sort of along the same lines as In the Mood for Love. It's Phantom Thread. This movie came out in 2017. It's set in London in the 1950s, and it's about a dressmaker and his muse and sort of the relationship that they begin to form through working together. But this movie had so many twists and turns that I really did not see coming, and I just thought it was phenomenal. I thought all the performances were amazing. I loved the setting. I loved the fashion. So definitely recommend. I feel like both of those movies were sort of, in Pride and Prejudice, the clenched fist shot. I feel like both of those movies kind of give those same vibes. If you know, you know. Next movie is completely different vibes than the last two. It's Whip It from 2009, directed by Drew Barrymore and starring Elliot Page. So, this movie is about sort of a small town girl who joins a roller derby team. And I absolutely love this movie. This movie was nearly perfect to me. It had strong female friendships. It had humor. It made me cry multiple times. It had some of the most convincing romance and chemistry that I think I've ever seen in a coming of age movie. I just really love this one. This is gonna end up being a new comfort movie for me, I think. Next is the movie All About Lily Choo Choo. This movie was from 2001. It's a Japanese film. It's about this young boy who is experiencing a lot of anxiety and bullying and growing pains, and he ends up finding connection and friendship through these online chat rooms about his favorite band called Lily Choo Choo. It has some of the best cinematography I've ever seen. Every single shot is just so beautiful, and it uses a bunch of different filming styles too, which I think is really cool. Like some of them are shot on just a little camcorder. It feels very realistic to me, and the soundtrack is also really amazing. I think I read that it was supposed to be blending of like Radiohead and Cocteau Twins and Bjork, and I listen to the soundtrack still. I will say it follows a lot of very dark themes, and this is a movie that really stuck with me after watching it, but I definitely recommend it. And I've started getting into the director's work. His name is Shunji Iwai. Actually, this past Thursday, a local movie theater by me was doing a showing of his movie Love Letter. This movie was so beautiful. It was so heartfelt. So it follows this girl who recently lost her fiance, and as she's mourning, she finds out that his childhood home was torn down, it no longer exists. And so, to try and cope with his passing, she starts writing him letters and sending them to this address, knowing that they're not going to go anywhere. But it's just sort of a way for her to try and communicate with him and just write out her thoughts. And she starts receiving letters in return. This movie just focuses a lot on grief and loss, but also on continuing to get to know someone after they're gone. and how you keep people alive through your memories of them. And it's just such a stunning movie. It obviously has some really heavy moments, but it also has a lot of humor. And I really love how complex the characters feel. So, yeah, I really recommend that one. Next up are two ballet films. So, if you're new here, I absolutely love ballet. I wish that in another life I could be a ballerina, but I went the soccer route when I was a kid. So I have absolutely no grace. I have no rhythm. I just don't think that that was my calling, but I wish it was. So just yesterday, Ryan and I went to the American Ballet Theater and we saw Swan Lake, which has been on my bucket list for so long. It was so beautiful. Literally the first note that they played before any dancers even came out on stage, my eyes started watering. I was just so excited. So after we saw the ballet, we went home, naturally watched the movie Black Swan. I've seen this movie like multiple times, but Ryan hadn't. It's just such a phenomenal movie. Natalie Portman absolutely deserved that Oscar. And Mila Kunis was also amazing. I just love the dark, introspective take that this movie has. And it focuses a lot more on the woman's experience. Because honestly, in Swan, like, it just focuses a lot on like what this man is wanting and how he's just like yearning for this swan girl in the woods. And I just really like that Black Swan makes it more of the female experience and also turns it into a horror movie. So pretty fun. The other ballet movie that I really loved was The Red Shoes. This came out in 1948. It visually looks like a play, and the costuming, the set design, the acting, the ballet performance obviously is just so gorgeous. I really loved the emotion in this movie. This movie just feels like you're entering into a different world. So that about wraps up our movie portion of the video, and now we're going to go into fashion. So speaking of ballet, I have been so fixated on these, I don't really know how you describe it. I'm gonna call it like a ballet rehearsal outfit where they wear like the leotard with a long flowy tulle skirt. And I love the wide neckline. I love the open back. I just really love the silhouette and I wish I could find it and just wear it on a normal day. I know that like ballet corps had a moment a little while ago, but I feel like that was more focused on like the ballet practice outfits with the little bolero tops and the leg warmers and the ballet flats. But I'm talking about like the performance wear. If you saw my last favorites video, you know that I gravitate towards sort of, I like fantastical clothes. I want to feel like a fairy princess. I like things that are flowy and wispy and romantic and feminine. I feel like my overall style inspiration is Arwen from Lord of the Rings. I attempted to dress as her for Halloween this past year, but it is a high bar. But because of her, I started trying to research what my color season is, and I'm just doing this on my own, but what I can tell is I think I'm a soft summer. If you're like really good at this stuff, please tell me if I'm wrong or if you think that there's a different one that fits me better. Not that it like really matters. Like if there's a color that you love to wear, then like who cares? Like just go do what you want to do. But I think that it is nice to have a tool to help narrow it down. In my own closet, let me show you what some of my favorite pieces have been. I can't remember if this was for my birthday or for Christmas, but my sister got me this scarf and I wore it constantly going from winter to spring. Look at this. It's a film reel crochet scarf. Also, sorry, I don't know what to do with this microphone while I show this off to you. But is this not the most amazing thing? I'm so obsessed with it. I think she got it on Etsy. She also got me the sweetest little jewelry set. It's these little earrings and bracelet from the brand Gemini Jewels. They also sent it in the cutest packaging ever. The earrings were in this little packet that like looked like a camera. I'll put the little clip on screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Just the other day, Ryan and I went to a Pride event at the Brooklyn Museum and they had a little artist market. And I got this new little bag charm that I thought reminded me of the stone in Coraline that she looks through. I just thought it was such a sweet little whimsical touch. This is another recent purchase. So I went to our local fantasy bookstore and they were selling these sweet little hair clips. It's like sort of iridescent and it just like looks like a little fairy. I think it's so adorable. And speaking of bookstores, we're going to go into our next segment now, which is my favorite books from the past couple of months. First up, I read this book, The Dallergut Dream Department Store. This book was so sweet. This was like a little treat at the end of my day. I really looked forward to reading it. I want to say this is a Korean book, and the basic premise is there's this department store where you can go and you can purchase dreams. It's very philosophical and also very sentimental, and I think altruistic as well. You can just tell that a lot of love and research was put into this book. And there's a sequel that I haven't read yet, so I'm really looking forward to that. As you can tell, I'm really into the fantasy genre. So the next one, I finally started Fourth Wing. This is the second book. I read the first one in a week. I read Akatar, and I thought those were really fun, the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. This series feels really similar to those, but it's focusing on a military school for dragon riders. My only qualm with this series is so far, I'm not completely convinced about the romance side of things. Like, I just don't really see where all this chemistry is coming from. Like, it doesn't really seem like a very deep and meaningful relationship. But if you're just reading this one for fun and for escapism, then it's a really easy book to read, and I really enjoy the imagery as well. This next one is the last fairy-themed book, so it's called The Cottage Fairy Companion. I actually picked this one up at a little local store in upstate New York last year, and it says it's a cottagecore guide to slow living, connecting to nature, and becoming enchanted again. This one really resonated with me right away because it's written by a woman who I believe was a writer, and she was working in a big city. She decided to move out into the mountains to be in nature and to be like more secluded, I suppose. She started a YouTube channel. This book has poems, short stories, recipes. It's very perceptive, and I feel like it focuses a lot on gentleness and mindfulness, and I love reading her musings. And I actually moved from Georgia to New York City, and so I feel like I'm going the opposite direction, and I've been really missing nature. And we also just recently bought this apartment in Brooklyn. So every season I like to just pick it up and read through her different recipes and her different thoughts on the season. And it just makes me feel more grounded and more connected to my environment. Speaking of short stories, I'm the type of person, I have to have a different book for like different parts of my day. So for instance, when I'm at home, that's when I read my little fantasy escapism stuff. And then if I'm on the subway, I like to read short stories and poetry because I just feel like I can concentrate better. I don't get as distracted. So this one is called Debriefing by Susan Sontag. So I actually came across a quote of hers a long time ago on like Pinterest or something, and it really resonated with me, and so I have it taped up on my wall over there. And I can put up a copy of it on the screen if you want to see. And I haven't finished this book yet, but so far I've just been really enjoying how candid she is. And she's so witty and she's kind of dry, and I really appreciate it. So this is just a really easy book to pick up whenever you have any free time or if you're sort of in transit. So these last two books that I really enjoyed were actually written by my parents. So a few years ago, me and my sisters did this thing called Storyworth. So basically, you select questions or you can write your own, and every night this company sends them to your loved one and they can write out their response. So for instance, the first one in my mom's book is, what is one of your favorite trips that you've taken? What made it great? and they can write their own little short story, their own essay, and at the end of a year, they have all of these questions that they've responded to, and it gets published into a book. This was just a really, really sweet thing to have this past winter because I'm a very sentimental person. I get very homesick easily, and so when I was missing them, it was really nice to just get to read their stories and their thoughts. And I'm just going to treasure these forever. My mom signed hers. This is obviously not sponsored or anything, like no one knows that I'm doing this, but I really recommend it. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Next up, we're going to talk about music. This one I'm not going to go super into detail. I'm just going to tell you what some of my favorite artists have been so that you can go and listen if you want to. My absolute favorite artist right now is called Mercury. I think she's incredibly talented. My favorite song by her is called Heaven. I also love Justin's Headed Out. I love Trying. I guess you could say it was sort of like dream rock. I don't even know, but just go listen to her and you won't regret it. Next, another one of my favorite bands is called At, like literally the at symbol. Their album called Are You There, God? It's Me is so phenomenal. My favorite songs on there are Processional and Web Crawler. I have no idea what this genre is. It is unlike anything I've heard before. It just feels like you're being transported into like a different universe. My next favorite is Sea Rose. They came out with a new album earlier this year called Death in the Business of Whaling. This one feels more dark and introspective. My favorite songs on the album are Belly of the Whale and Dearly Missed, but I can listen to this entire album and not get sick of it. I just really loved it. I also am often drawn to nautical themes because I spend every summer in Maine, and that's where my mom grew up, and so for some reason this album just feels really cozy to me. Okay, and then this next one is not anything like the other ones. About a month ago, I watched the show Popstar Academy about the band Cat's Eye, and okay, I'll say their music is not quite my taste, but the girls in the group are just so endearing, and I'm just cheering for them. But actually, from that show, I discovered Adele. Icon, queen. I love her music. She is so talented. I love Superscar. I love Home Wrecked, especially the version that she does when she's live, and it's like a ballad. It's just gorgeous. Alright, we've made it to the last portion of our video, just my miscellaneous things that I've really been enjoying. So Ryan and I have been going so all in on nerdy hobbies. So for instance, we've started playing the game Magic the Gathering. If you don't know, this game is so complex. It has such a steep learning curve. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons adjacent, I would say. But Ryan started getting into it and was going out with his friends like several days a week to go to a brewery and just play Magic for like hours. And honestly, I had FOMO. I wanted to see what this was all about. So Ryan got me my own deck. I really only chose this one because the commander is like a cat woman. And I have all my cards in these like hot pink little sleeves. It's been a really fun way to spend less time on your phone and be more present and be in community. So that's been a really silly little hobby that we've started. And then kind of along those same lines, we've also been getting into Pokemon. So my phone case has my little Espeon card in it. I was really into Pokemon when I was a kid, and like me and my friend had a Pokemon encyclopedia, and she had a trampoline in her backyard, and so we would flip to a random page in the encyclopedia, and then we would like pretend that each of us were a Pokemon and we had to battle against each other using their special powers while we're like jumping around on the trampoline. It's like a core memory of mine. It was so fun. This past winter, I started playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on the Nintendo Switch, and then now I just started Pokemon Scarlet, I think it's what it's called. Just another really fun form of escapism that I've been enjoying. And Ryan's friend Luca is like really into collecting Pokemon cards. I have like 2 the Espeon one I just showed you, and then I think I have another one that's also Espeon. And but Luca invited us to this trading card convention thing, and it was like really elaborate, but it was super fun just to get to like talk to people who are super passionate about something. And then our last little nerdy thing is we've started watching the show Frieren, which is a anime, and it's about this little elf girl who has this super long lifespan, and because of that she doesn't really get super close to people in her life because their lifespan is so much shorter than hers. But after one of them passes away, like literally at the beginning of the show, she decides that it's actually worth it to get to know people and to connect with people even if your relationship is going to be cut short. It's such a lovely show. And it honestly reminds me a little bit of Over the Garden Wall, which is another favorite of mine in the fall. Both of them are just very comforting and make me like reflect on the people in my life. And then speaking of hobbies, this is something I've been doing for almost a year now, but I want to shout it out. I've been taking piano lessons with my uncle. We do it over FaceTime because he lives just outside of Boston. But I was able to find a free keyboard that someone was throwing away, and it's just been very meditative for me. It's been really restful. I played the violin when I was in middle school, and honestly, I think I assumed that I would be like too old to start something new, or like you can only be good at an instrument or a sport or a hobby if you have been doing it since you were a little kid. But honestly, I don't even care if I'm good at it. I probably am not. But it's been really a nice time getting to play the piano. And then me and my uncle will have like a little debrief session afterwards, just like chat and talk about life. And like, of course, learning a new skill is worth it, but it's honestly just the quality time that I get to spend with him. That's been the best part of it. And then the very last thing that I had written down is me and Ryan have also been watching the World Cup, and I used to play soccer that I mentioned earlier. I played for around 10 years, and it was my whole life, but I think after a while, it just wasn't fun anymore. It was just super competitive, and I stopped kind of cold turkey, and I wouldn't play soccer after that. I wouldn't watch soccer. Like, it just made me super stressed out. But for some reason, this year for the World Cup, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try again and just like see what it's all about. And me and Ryan are going to sign up for a local little like adult rec team. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's like co-ed for a range of different skill levels. Like you don't have to have played ever. It's just like for making friends. And I just feel like something is like healing in me that I'm going to start that soon. It just feels like a full circle moment. So that is all I have for you guys today. I know that was a lot. The sun has been going up and down this whole time. I've been rambling. I hope you enjoyed this. It kind of felt like show and tell to me, so I had fun. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys next time.